animation.
That
and
way,
then take it from there.
I said that way you kind of go from, in my opinion, the worst to the best.
Yeah, you do. You go from the worst to the best because
The animation,
well,
oh my god.
well, a lot of people are very skeptical about Fate Zero or about Fate Stay Night and say it's a 50-50 kind of show. It's kind of midway. I think a lot of us are in agreement that the Fate Zero anime is spectacular.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
and so and a lot of the nice things about it you can only really appreciate if you know what you're missing by watching Fate Stay Night, and especially because Fate Zero is a modern show, so it's made with modern animation techniques, and it looks absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah,
but
and some of the animation, like, well, if you have bad motion sickness problems, some of the fight scenes will cause you problems.
We'll get to that later, but the
Medical warning.
but it's used well for atmosphere, and it's not like, okay, I'm going to use this as an example, but we all know High School of the Dead, right?
Oh, yeah.
High School of the Dead is a well-animated show, but it uses a lot of CGI, and it uses way too much CGI. It's almost nothing but CGI. And
Seems like most movies nowadays.
I think High School of the Dead is an okay show, but go on.
What's CGI?
Computer-based animation. It's like the actual abbreviation is
Computer generated.
yeah.
Generated.
Yeah.
But
Drawing it off and by hand and like animating it frame by frame.
It's digital.
Installed completely digital.
Yeah, but you know the first episode, the sweeping shot over the high school rooftop in High School of the Dead, and I think it's in the intro for every episode as well. That shot to me looks so, and now I'm gonna say this is just my opinion. I think it's an okay show, but that shot looks so fake to me, and it looks so just ridiculously over-exaggerated and over the top, and I'm like, this looks so ridiculous. But then you look at Fate Zero, and it's like it's using the same modern animation techniques, and it just looks gorgeous. But yeah, that would be my recommendation: is watch the anime adaptations in order they're released. Unless you want to go super hardcore and try to find the visual novel, which would be a good experience if you're willing to be patient enough to find it. And it's gonna try your patience because it's a slow story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would also try your patience in the fact that me, of course, I'm a completionist and I had to get every bad end and everything else. It took me 2 days, like literally over 48 hours to get everything.
For the people who were asking earlier about what to start with Zero or to Stay Night, those who weren't interested in chronological programs understanding from that, Zero spills a lot less about Stay Night than Stay Night spills about Zero.
That's very true.
Yeah.
That's very true. Because the very first episode of Fate Stay Night will essentially give you the climax of Fate Zero, because it's the beginning of that timeline.
Give or take a few details.
Now, that doesn't detract from Zero in any way, because you go into Zero knowing these things, and yet the things that you see are still very impactful, very tragic, and very depressing. But yeah, like I said, Fate Zero, go ahead and we're going to play the intro now for season 2. We're about halfway out of time here. Hands down, my favorite anime intro of the last like 5 years, probably.
I don't know. I was more of a fan of the first one. I just thought that song was just amazing.
I think he's out of his mind, but that's not the point.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, like I was saying, Fate Zero is a very... Go ahead. Okay.
I got a fan.
So, I think he's out of my mind, but anyway...
I think you're both crazy.
Okay.
We all are.
You're entitled to your opinion, and so are we for that matter. But Fate Zero, like I said, is a very dark show, and it's not... I don't know if you read the actual subtitles in there, but again with mistranslated lines, like I was saying, that's one of the best things I've seen picking on the Fate Zero subtitle version, which I think is actually pretty good. But
Yeah, hey, we should have Saber read that out loud.
I think they can read it, right? Okay.
Some people in the back can't.
Yeah, very true. What? That's horrible. They're our guests.
She's talking about riding a motorcycle, to put that in context,
Yeah.
which she did in
Please
that
don't
intro.
leave this area thinking she's talking about something else.
Okay.
I could read it for
But anyway, so Fate Zero is a very dark show, and it's very disturbing at times. It's it's definitely also for mature audiences. I don't think the light novel suffered from the same censorship issues, but it's disturbing, but it's not one of those over-the-top, exceptionally gory anime that you see. It's not like Hellsing or whatever that has like ridiculous deaths of like exploding bodies and whatnot just because. When it applies disturbing scenes, it knows how to take its time with them and apply them very subtly. I think it's more effective that way. And there are some death scenes in Fate Zero that are more impactful without showing a lot of gore.
So sad.
And yeah, it's
I don't care who you are, you will shed a manly tear.
like there's at least 3 or 4 scenes in season 2 alone in Fate Zero where you're standing on the screen going, I'm not kidding.
Did he
Like,
just really do that?
it's crazy, but so it's a very, very messed up show at times, but it's not one of those that's going to give you nightmares or like just gross you out from a sheer level of gore.
Also, there are certain key points in Zero that like set up the story for Fate Stay Night.
Right.
Like, and they're like splattered throughout the entire series, so it's not like you'll be expecting it.
But like I was saying about the pace of Fate Zero, it's mainly exposition and dialogue, which is not bad because it's very interesting dialogue, and it's setting up for a lot of tension that was not present in Fate Stay Night. But when there is action, the animation budget definitely shows off that it's well done. It's very well done action scenes, and it doesn't really go over the top until season 2. In season 1, the fights were very minimal, but they were very well done, but they were subtle.
Yeah, subtle, my butt.
Subtle.
Subtle compared to season 2.
Season 2, on the other hand, starts with this.
Oh God.
This is this is part of one of the first fights in season 2. Now this requires a lot of context. This guy is flying what looks like a giant spaceship.
Yeah, like a boss.
So yeah, that was subtle, right?
I just loved his total I don't give a shit.
Yeah, no single focus.
It's like, God, I can't believe I'm doing this.
Yeah.
He flies
No,
like a king.
that requires a lot of context to explain
I see what you did
because Berserker in Fate Zero has the ability to turn any object into a weapon. So he's basically able to possess an F-16 and fly it around.
Yeah.
And
F-15.
act like he's been trained for 20 years on the damn thing.
Yeah, and here's the glorious part. Those two
F-15.
are my
Huh?
favorites.
F-15.
Right, F-15. He's the aircraft expert, refer to him.
Yes. Any aircraft questions? Ask this man.
And Gilgamesh, that flying thing actually symbolically exists in his legend. Like he has an arc apparently in his legend, but it's not supposed to be a freaking spaceship, but it symbolically exists.
Anyway, you never know what they had back then.
Right.
I mean, ancient technology and whatnot.
So anyway, to get to go ahead.
What they're saying about the animation for the second season, part of the reason for that was the first season box set DVDs were $400 a piece, sold 50,000 copies in the first 2 weeks. So the animation studio took an entire season off and plowed all of that money into the defense budget for the second season.
Right.
That's what it is.
Well, that's in dollars. They might not have been sold that in Japan in yen.
That's the
Converted.
That's the converted value. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, I know, we did really good on this, so let's splurge.
Yeah, and it paid off because we're gonna get it for cheap. But hopefully at least. So, and I'm
love
getting
you,
to
Japan.
that. A few days ago, the dub cast was announced for Fate Zero. Sentai Filmworks is going to be doing the dub for this as well as they did for Unlimited Blade Works, and they are bringing back a lot of reoccurring voices from Fate Stay Night, but not necessarily as the same characters. First of all, we have Matthew Mercer as I think that's his name, or
I think that's it.
yeah, as Kiritsugu, who's the guy who did the voice of Leon in Resident Evil 6. To give one example,
Oh boy.
Yeah, I don't have any other analogies. He's a pretty good voice actor though, and I think he'll be pretty appropriate for that role. I liked the guy Kiritsugu only had a handful of lines in Fate Stay Night, so I didn't really care too much if they got the same voice actor back for him. Kire is not being voiced by Jameson Price this time. He's instead being voiced by Crispin Freeman, which is Crispin Freeman is a really good voice actor. Let's say that. But again, Jameson Price can narrate your life. So, but Jameson Price instead is being repurposed to voice Ryder, which that's going to be
scarily
awesome.
accurate. He's probably narrating something right now.
Here's where it gets weird. Well, Liam O'Brien, who does the voice of Archer, yours truly, he is back as Karya, which is Karya Macho, Berserker's Master, which that'll be fine, but it seems a little odd for me
All he has
personally.
to do is just act like crazy.
Yeah. Anyway, but and then where it gets weird is
Oh god, this one's funny.
the original voice actor for Gilgamesh is in Fate Zero, but he's not doing Gilgamesh anymore. Instead he's doing Lancer, and the original who actually is doing Gilgamesh's voice in Zero is one of the recurring voice actors from the original Fate Stay Night dub, but it's the guy who did the voice of Assassin. Now I want you to think about this for a minute. If you've seen Fate Stay Night in dub, then you know that Assassin had a pretty good voice actor, but Gilgamesh on the other hand, I kind of feel like some of his lines kind of fell flat compared to the Japanese, because in the Japanese version he gets very over the top.
He's very eccentric when he
Yeah.
talks. I mean, have you seen how he talks to some people? I mean, that's pretty messed up.
But in Fate Zero, Gilgamesh is very, as we saw there, he's very discreet and he's very intimidating and he's very
shiny.
that's not the point. But he
That shininess like distracts people.
and I thought about that. I was like, I think I agree with that choice. I think I agree with what they decided to do with that, because he needs to be a little bit more sturdy and intimidating. And then in the case of Lancer needs to be able to flirt with Saber a little bit, which Gilgamesh did very well in Fate Stay Night. So we all know that. Not to give any spoilers, but
yeah.
and then on the subject of Saber herself, we are getting Saber's voice revisioned for the third time. It is not going to be Kate Higgins or Michelle Ruff this time. And I actually don't know. I don't remember her.
I read it was going to be Michelle Ruff
No,
again.
it's going to be someone else. I don't remember what the name is off the top of my head. But say what? Right.
Oh, okay.
I
Thank you
can't
very much.
remember. Oh, that's right. Something that's very ironic that I found is if you've seen Fate Zero, you know that Castor has this mad obsession with Saber because he thinks that she's Joan of Arc for some reason. And the girl that does the voice, that's going to do the dub voice of Saber in Fate Zero, is actually the same girl that did the dub voice for the character of Joan of Arc in a Joan of Arc PSP game. So I find that very ironic that his obsession is rather justified there. But
It's like, hey, you look just like this one girl I met. Don't. Kind of weird. Might be twins.
go ahead.
I was just say,
That game has nothing to do with the Fate franchise, but go ahead.
but the thing you mentioned about Gilgamesh and the different voice actors and how you said in Fate Zero he's kind of more intimidating and stuff like that. Just to say for those who haven't played Fate Stay Night, there's a plot reason for the kind of shift in personality.
Right. Gilgamesh. There's a reason why he's in both stories. The reason why he's in both Zero and the Fate route, and we can't explain why, because that'd be a major spoiler. But basically, he has to do something in order for that to be possible, so that he does become a little bit more sadistic as a result. I get what you're getting at there.
Sadistic doesn't cover what he becomes.
Does he still have red eyes? Yes, he does.
Actually, he does.
Okay.
This thing, I'm happy.
So I'm very happy about the dub choice.
Yeah.
But again, that's purely at the bias of your opinion. If you are the kind of person who is acceptant of the idea of a dub in general, then you'll like this dub probably. But it's like if you're the kind of guy who's like the Japanese will always be better, then you're not gonna like it. So moving forward, am I missing something here? No, not yet. There's a few other things in the Fate expanded universe I want to go over briefly. There was an arcade game released in 2008. It's an arcade fighting game made by Capcom called Fate Unlimited Codes, and it was ported to the PS2 and the PSP. The PSP version is the only one we have here in America. If you have a PSP and you like 2D fighting games, especially the really hardcore ones, and you like the Fate franchise, there's some reference for you there. It's a really, really cool game. Download it. Go to your PlayStation Marketplace on your PSP, and you'll be able to download it there. So it's It's really fun. The PS2 version, if you actually have a Japanese PS2 that can play it, or a modded PS2 that can play the Japanese version, the control scheme is a lot harder to get used to, but it's still a pretty good fighting game in my opinion. As far as anime adaptive fighting games go.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the most broken character, just so I can say this out loud, in Fate Unlimited Codes, is Zero Lancer.
No, is regular Lancer. Regular Lancer is broken, because he's the fastest character in the game, and you cannot...
No, I swear to God, it's Zero Lancer.
Okay, fine.
Zero Lancer's better. He's got 2 lances.
His voice was good, clearly. Anyway, there's another...
Clearly, you two are going to have to fight regular Lancer versus Fate Lancer at some point.
Yeah. Which is actually quite a lot of fun to do. But there's another game for the PSP called Fate Extra, and that is a sort of Shin Megami Tensei Persona style high school RPG that where you basically you're basically play as an average high schooler, where you go into like this digital world, kind of like the grid from Tron, and you play the Holy Grail War there. And it gets deeper than that. But that's basically the abridged version of it. And there's 3 servants you can play as, or there's three servants you can acquire by choice in Fate Extra. There's a caster who I don't remember her identity, but she has a really nice design. There's Archer. Archer is the same Fate Archer that we all know and love right here. And Saber is actually not the same Saber from the other games in the Fate, in the anime in the Fate franchise. She's actually not. She has a different heroic identity than that Saber. She's actually Nero, the 5th Roman Emperor, which is actually kind of a nice. It's kind of a nice touch, but the Fate Extra is a very strange game. Let's put it that way. This game gives you the same like dialogue choices as the Fate Stay Night visual novels do, but it will kill you for making the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Just out of like the very first choice in the game is like you get like a dummy servant and you fight another dummy servant, and if you lose, the game is like, do you want to give up or do you want to keep trying? And it's like, if you choose to give up, the game ends. And it's like, what did I do? So, but it's
Now going back to the menu for you.
Yeah. So we're kind of running low on time here. Hudson, do you want to step up to the table and proceed? We have a few more topics to cover about what is to come in the Fate franchise.
So, over the same period of time, Zero was released. Someone at Fate Stay Night, someone at Type Moon decided, you know what? I've had it with the sadness. We're going to do something funny. And thus, Carnival Phantasm was born. It is a massive multiplayer crossover series of
All the Type Moon stuff.
Anime, manga, that basically plays every in-joke the stuff has, and as you can tell by listening to these jokers, there are quite a lot of in-jokes, and setting the characters in strange, interesting, and hilarious situations, changing the context of the Holy Grail War from a 7-way gladiatorial death match to a game show, or a high-speed road race, or a flight to the moon, whatever. They did it.
Also, if I could add one thing to that, Carnival Phantasm, as it's called, is the only anime adaptation where Saber's Ultra form from the Heaven's Feel route is actually seen in anime form. So, which is I thought was a nice touch, and that's my favorite episode of that. Yeah. But go on.
Yeah, Carnival Phantasm, hilarious. There was someone really likes that opening.
Yeah.
There was a character in Fate Stay Night who didn't have a route, and someone on the design team really liked her, so they got an ex-H manga artist to draw up a Magical Girl series starring her. It's getting an anime adaptation because Japan likes cute little girls in Magical Girl animes.
We're so screwed.
Fate Khalid Island.
Especially knowing her personality.
Khalid Liner Prismilia, I think it's called.
I'm honestly not looking forward to that. To be perfectly honest with you.
I'm afraid.
So, and then the third work, which is a currently ongoing light novel being published. The guys who do Kami subs are currently translating it. The prologue is out. It's called Fate Apocrypha. It is the recycled concept for a Fate Stay Night themed online game. The original idea someone at Type Moon had been playing a little bit too much Team Fortress 2, and they decided that instead of having a 7-way gladiatorial death match, or setting it up as some sort of elaborate game show, they were going to have 2 teams of 7 masters and 7 servants competing for the Grail.
Team deathmatch.
Team red and team blue, black. And
I've seen this game before.
The servants that they have chosen for Fate Apocrypha are awesome, though.
so they scrapped the idea of having it as an online game, probably because Valve said intellectual property infringement. And so it's being written as a novel. It features such servants as Vlad Dracula, yes, that Vlad Dracula, Karna from the Ramanaya, Mordred,
We're gonna show pictures
Jack
of
the
him here.
Ripper,
There's a lolly.
Frankenstein, who's also a lolly because someone at Type Moon is a character so I know likes lollies.
Because they're small children and think that's funny.
Which one's Frankenstein?
Frankenstein is the girl with pink hair and the unicorn horn.
Not even joking.
Eric?
Bottom row. Can't see the picture.
Spartacus is a berserker in this, which I thought was really cool.
I'm Spartacus.
Oh, I'm Spartacus.
No, he's Spartacus.
We are all Spartacus here. Yes, and the interesting thing is some of their abilities and whatnot are revealed. Usually berserkers can't talk, can't think coherently. Spartacus has a special ability that allows him to rant and rave about liberty and freedom and sticking it to the man, even while he's in the middle of a foaming in the mouth berserker rage.
This is gonna be great.
So, there are interesting things in store. And speaking of interesting things being in store, right after this, in fact, directly after this, they're going to show Fate Zero down in the anime viewing rooms on the first floor.
Yeah, if you guys are interested in this franchise, go to this. I think it's the second anime room, and they're going to be screening 2 episodes of Fate Zero. If you guys want to go check it out right now. There's one more thing they made. We don't have enough time to show it because we got to end now. But there is a 12-minute long OVA called. You want to go over that? Go ahead.
The OVA literally was a concept that never was supposed to exist. It's called Fate Prototype.
It's basically the scrapped concept for what
Yeah.
Fate Stay Night would have been.
Yeah, basically instead of Shiro being a male, basically they were going to turn it into a female, and then Saber would have been a guy, which is the reason I'm dressed like this.
Which that didn't work out too well, but
Yeah, but basically, Fate Prototype was, like I just said, the concept of what it was going to be, but the designers were like, let's change some things before we release this.
originally Saber was a dude, you see, but they thought that was too generic, so they changed
Yeah.
it.
They're like, God, another guy with a big sword and glowy magic attacks. Nope, sorry, we gotta make it a girl.
So go look that up online. It's only 12 minutes long, and it's basically just a summary of
Yeah.
what it would have been. It's
And
pretty
you get
cool.
to see what? I think it's three different servants. It's
You can see
Archer, Saber, and Lancer. I
and
believe.
Lancer, yeah. And then they allude to the others. But
Yeah.
There's no current plans for them to adapt that into a full anime series or anything like that. But it was cool for what it was.
Oh yeah, I have to give them credit. But one of the things I wanted to add about it was the fact that Fate Prototype, they basically used it as part of a buffer between the 2 seasons for Fate Zero 1 and 2.
Not only that, but there was a Fate Zero filler arc as well that
Yeah.
I forgot to mention.
It was, like I said, very well done, and I kind of wish they would run with this and just rename it to something else. It's like Fate something, like including
Fate
Male
Prototype
Saber.
TV.
Yeah,
That's probably what they would end up calling it. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight, so
Fate Persona.
yeah. Thank you guys very much for attending.
Yes, seriously, thank you. We love you.
Just one thing.
And don't forget, if you go to the dealer's room tomorrow, look up, if you couldn't find it before, try and see if you can find some Fate Zero or Fate Stay Night merchandise. They have some amazing statuettes.
Also, if you guys are already interested in this franchise, you're already fans of it, and you want to do cosplays with our group, contact us, talk to us, and let us know, because we
Yes.
we're doing groups like cons all over the South,
Yeah.
so we had a pretty big, decent group at AWA, so
We do
just let us
interviews.
know. So,
We do interviews, right?
feel free to talk to us about it more if you want.
Warning to history buffs. You might not like some of the...
Yeah.
It does
Yeah,
not
so
claim
some
to be
of them are
historically
like-
accurate.
It's like, wait a minute. Oh yeah.
Artistic
Yeah, gender
liberties
bending
everywhere.
legends is one thing. That's really funny.